You are mindful of him, or the Son of Man, that you care for him. You made him for a little while lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor, putting everything in subjection under his feet. You want to understand what it means?
Yep.
So, for a...
That's fine. That's fine. I think
so in the suffering of death, Jesus was lower than the
I don't see the you're talking about, verse 9. Oh, let me keep reading.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, let's read it in context. They say, you made him for a little while lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor, putting everything in subjection under his feet. Now, putting everything in subjection to him, he left nothing outside his control. At present, we do not yet see everything in subjection to him, but we see him for a little while was made lower than the angels, namely Jesus, crowned with glory and honor because of the suffering of death, so that by the grace of God, he might taste death for everyone. You want to defend?
So how do we say he was lower than the angels if he was God?
As a man.
Yep.
So this is the thing that Muslim brothers don't, maybe it's hard to understand. So Jesus God from the beginning of time knew he had to come and do something to save us. And he set up the whole sacrificial system that the Jews followed through Moses. Moses put out the sacrifice system, right? To sacrifice animals to atone for sins.
Yep.
But they all were just pointing to the ultimate sacrifice, which was Jesus, right? So he had to come. He became his creation. Now I know it's difficult for my brothers here to understand. He actually literally became and lowered himself to become his creation in order to live as a perfect man and sacrifice himself. And then sacrificing himself, at that time as a man, he actually, there's verses in the Bible that says he actually separated himself from his godly kind of powers and just became a man and lived like us, so he can experience life like you and I do.
Fully God and fully man.
He was fully God and fully man. And then when he died, so like a lot of times he talked to the woman at the well and kind of knew her life. That's because God spoke to him through
the prophets. All of the prophets, that God can give them
exactly, for sure.
For all the prophets.
But like, does that
that's kind of the same way I was going. But then he had mentioned his concern was if God knows everything, which was Jesus. We have a Trinity because they believe in one God without the Trinity. How come Jesus said he does not know the hour that God is coming back if he knows everything?
So at that time, he was man. Jesus became man. He was a man. Because if he wasn't a man, he couldn't have suffered and died.
Right.
So at that time... Huh?
He was still God.
He's God and man, but he separated himself from like those divine powers so that he could live as a man. But then when he raised from the dead,
so you mean like at one point you're either one thing or another thing. You can't be like two things at the same time.
You can't limit God. God can do anything.
One person which is limited, God is unlimited. So you cannot be limited and unlimited and say I'm both in one. There's a contradiction, clear contradiction.
You don't believe that God can become a man, right?
It's not befitting for the God. The same as not befitting for the God to become a rat, to become a bird or something.
But what is your version of God? What is your version of God?
Yes.
So you see, it's not befitting for the God to become like that. God has an attribute He's off his creation.
Yeah. But like, do you think that God was? Do you think Jesus wasn't born? See, this is the thing that some people maybe have a difficulty with.
Adam wasn't born either.
Adam wasn't born either. Adam
the first man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. God created him.
Yeah.
But they're not gods. They're not gods. Adam wasn't God.
Of course he's not God. But what I'm saying is, so Jesus didn't have a manly father, right? So his mother was Miriam, as you would call him, Mary. So, and his father was God through the Holy Spirit. So he doesn't have an earthly father. He came down to sacrifice himself, right? But he had the ability to die. He had the ability to do what he did. They didn't kill him. He accepted death. He was willing to die, to be that sacrifice, right? His blood. I'm talking. Do you need me?
Yeah. So these guys here are doing free speech, right?
Sure.
I'm in your camp. For now. I think you should wander on.
No, it's fine.
They asked me questions. I was walking by. Maybe you should hang with me and listen. Listen before you speak.
I think.
Yeah. I just walked by. They asked me questions. I wasn't even
I did.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why are you telling me to walk away?
I think he wants more of, not a debate, but like a
Educational?
free speech and
Yeah,
educational and something like that.
It's true.